regarding photos and images from Season 2 of Wheel of Time shall be discussed in this podcast. If you want nothing to do with those kinds of spoilers, then I suggest you not watch this video or listen to this podcast. You've been warned.
Part of Double P Media, doublepmedia.com.
This is Spawn Center.
Good morning, it's Get Up. Greenie here with you, Mike Greenberg. Thanks for joining me today. Lots of news as the schedule for Trolloc TV comes out. And joining me once again to talk about it is Coach Trolloc. Coach Trolloc, welcome back to the program.
Oh, thank you, Greenie. It's good to be back. It's good to be a coach again. You know, I had to do a singing career and all that stuff during the off season. It's kind of tough, but we're back. The schedule is out. We're happy to be part of it.
Now, let me ask you something, Coach. I mean, I don't know anything. I haven't talked to anybody. I don't say anything normally, but I've got to say this. With a release of September 1st of 2023, it seems to me that if Amazon Prime does indeed make you play 2 or 3 games, 2 or 3 episodes in the first week, it's going to be a short and hard season for the Trollocs.
That's right, Greenie. And if that's the case, we'll just have to see how many episodes they're going to release at once during that first week. However, I'd like to point out that that's not what we're focused on. We're focused on winning this time around. We had some very poor production last season. We're working in all 3 phases this season. You know, terror, cannibalism, and general skullduggery. You got to have those 3 phases to be a good Trolloc team. But I got to tell you that it feels like our competition is really going to be strong this year. I've been looking out there to the West Coast and some of those teams like the Shan-Chan that seem to be tearing up places with some kind of magic that I've never seen. And we're having to come up with a plan for that and understand what our role this season is going to be.
It's interesting that you bring that up, Coach Trolloc, because I don't know anything. I haven't talked to anybody. I don't know jack squat about anything, but I like to hear the sound of my own voice. And so I will say, it seems to me there's going to be a lot of action this season, and it's going to be hard for you to work your way into that schedule.
Well, that's kind of what I'm talking about, Greenie. Exactly. I think it's going to be very difficult for us to find our way through a season that may be adapting not just 1, but parts of 2 books. It's really an exciting time to be a coach of Trollocs, and we'll just have to see what the future brings.
Thank you, Coach Trolloc, for joining us and closing things out with a very generic coach speak topic. We'll be right back on Get Up, where we now are in our 1,078th straight day of talking about the Lakers.
Welcome back to Bustin' Blockbusters podcast. It's the podcast with the attention span of a toddler. We start off with Marvel. We go to shiny things like Wheel of Time. We then come back to Marvel. Then we run off and do a season of something on Netflix. And then we come back and we do a season of Marvel, and we do a season of Wheel of Time again. Lord of the Rings was in there. I've got people with me who was on Lord of the Rings with me. I've got people with me who was on Wheel of Time with me. Today is all about Wheel of Time. We have Bubba, the president and founder of Double P Media, at Fit and Trim on Twitter. And we have Priscilla, who has her own YouTube channel, youtube.com/@PriscillaTV1. Please check it out and subscribe. Today I'm also joined by special guests, 2/3 of the overlords of TV podcast industries. We're joined by Derek and John. Guys, thanks so much for joining me. Tell me a little bit about TV podcast industries before we move on to other things.
Well, we're delighted to be here, Matt. Thank you so much for inviting us along. I guess the overview of TV podcast industries, we've been going for 9 years, covering various TV shows, lots of Marvel TV shows, lots of fantasy TV shows, episode by episode, very similar to what you guys do. So yeah, delighted to be with you. But we've got 3 hosts, myself, John, and Chris, are 3 hosts that pop on and talk about every single episode of every TV show that we like.
Speaking of which, should we offer a congratulations to Chris? We understand he has a new member of the family coming, or
they have arrived into the world. Yes,
they certainly have. Yes. So it is a big congratulations to Chris and his wife, and of course to the newborn.
Exactly.
Once again, congratulations to Chris. Hopefully Chris is not reading Eye of the World to the baby already. You know what a book reader he is.
Yes.
But we do have one book reader, right? John, you
yes.
Where have you left off in your book reading?
I am currently part of the way through book 4. Yes, I started reading the books just before the first season because I'd never read them before. Chris had always mentioned them and said I should. And so I thought, given that we were going to cover it, I should start to get into it. Of course, I kind of raced through book 1, started book 2, thinking that the last year we were going to have season 2. Didn't happen. Moved on to book 3, which I finished earlier this year whilst on holiday, and started up on book 4. So I'm through book 4 at the moment, going through that.
Yeah, excellent. And Derek, you are still a non-book reader, or did you finally give in?
It's weird, isn't it? That for me, I've been obviously podcasting about TV shows for so many years, and all based on books or comics or things that I have knowledge about. And the Wheel of Time is a big hole in my knowledge. Chris is the one that proposed the show for us to do. He's the big book reader. He's the one that's read all the books multiple times and was like, "We're definitely doing this." And I've stayed as spoiler-free as I possibly can of all of the books. So they're all sitting on the shelf in our home as John reads through them and goes, "Oh my God, you can't imagine what's going to happen in season 3 of the show when it gets there." But I'm going to have to wait that out, and I'm going to stay as non-booked spoiled as I can.
Okay, excellent. And you guys, you just do audio stuff. You don't do video stuff, right?
Yeah, just audio.
Yeah, very rarely. A long time ago when we used to do Gotham, another TV show that we covered, we used to do video. But yeah, we stick to our audio podcasting for the most part.
I don't think we're great live, basically. But it does give you a discipline.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, if you're seeing this video on the Double P Media YouTube, be sure to hit that like button or that dislike button. The algorithm goddess demands your attention, and we need something to tell us what people like and what they don't like. And Bubba can't wait to show me 17 thumbs down so that he can say, "Get out of here, kid." And we're going to talk about the big news that you heard Coach Trolloc talk about at the intro of this podcast. I promise Coach Trolloc will not return. I know how much you all love him. And we will be talking about the fact that Season 2 of Wheel of Time finally returns in 2023. We will have it on September 1st at midnight GMT, which means Bubba and I will get to watch it Thursday night. Priscilla will not get to watch it until the morning. So that's the way that works with time zones and all for where we are, which, as you can imagine, makes it really hard to do a podcast when the three of us are together as well.
We're really lucky over here because the way that they always release Prime Video shows is we get to eat a bowl of cereal and watch it before work when it comes out. So it's great for us. You get to watch this stuff in the morning. So yeah, that always works out really well. It happens with all the shows that are released on streaming services. So I think it's going to be the same with Prime Video.
If you want to contact me, I've been having trouble with Twitter, but at BustBlockbuster, you can also tweet to Double P Media. Actually, all of their socials are the word double, the letters PHQ. Even for Facebook, facebook.com/the word double, the letters PHQ. Or you can, of course, leave comments on the YouTube. Be sure to check out Priscilla's YouTube. Once again, youtube.com/@PriscillaTV1. And be sure to check out Bubba's Double P Media YouTube channel, which is at Double P Media, right? The word double, the letter P, the word media on YouTube. So, with all of that said, I want to get everybody's reaction to all of this. Bubba, let's start with you. Just about how you feel about this news. How much of a wrinkle is this going to put in your schedule when you're possibly still podcasting about Ahsoka?
Ahsoka. Matt, let me tell you something. This is great that Wheel of Time is coming back this fall, 2023. last fall, last year, so many people were tied up in big fantasy projects like The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, and House of the Dragon, the spinoff of Game of Thrones. Wheel of Time may have been forgotten about for a bit, but now it's going to have the entire fall to itself. This is exciting. It's time for it to grab the imagination of TV watchers everywhere. I'm excited.
By the way, Bubba, have you read any of the books? You have not, right?
No, I am not. I'm a show-only subject. I am a bit like Rand. I'm a bit confused as what happened at the end of season 1, but I'm very excited about season 2.
All right. And you're just as annoying as Rand as well. Priscilla, what did you think of this announcement? Were you looking for it? Were you expecting it? How are you going to approach this season coming up?
Well, I was really happy because I really enjoyed the first season. I think he had some problems, but overall, I was really satisfied with what they done. And I have a problem with this 2 years interval almost from one season to the other. I hope that they can get this fixed, not with the strikes. Perhaps I think it's going to get even worse now. But I'm very excited, and I was hoping August, to be honest, but September the 1st is also a really good time.
I believe that you are a book reader, correct? Have you read the entire series?
3 first books.
The first 3 books.
Yeah, I decided to do like this. I would do the series as long as the TV series is being made. So I have both the non-reader and the reader perspective. That makes sense. So for instance, the first season was the first book and some parts of the second book. So I had the 2 books read for the first season, and now for the second season, the third one. So The Dragon Reborn.
And that's good. I have read the entirety of the series, although I don't remember a whole lot of it. I'm currently in a reread and following along another podcast that's doing the reading of it, and it's very enlightening to me. I am through book 6, and I've also read the prequel book. So 0 through 6, 7 books total. Lord of Chaos is where I left off. But we will, in the interest of keeping Bubba spoiler-free, we won't talk too much about book spoilers until we send him away. And John, how excited are you to be diving back into this now that you've been reading some of the books?
I'm really, really excited to get back into it. I really enjoyed the first season of the show, and I liked how they treated the stuff from the books as well, from book 1. And so I'm really intrigued to see how they kind of marry this up. And there's certainly, because they are introducing elements of book 3, but I think with book 2, you've got such a big sort of crescendo to it. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Excellent. Derek, obviously you guys do a whole lot of podcasts throughout the year on lots of great television. So is this timing pretty good for you? How's it working out and just for you personally in terms of watching the show?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting back to Wheel of Time. We always make time for the shows that we love anyway, which is so. Regardless of whether the timing is going to be good or not, we will make time for Wheel of Time. But it's working out okay. We've got about a show a month, and there's only crossover of a few episodes here and there, which is the best way you can have it. We do have, I think it's Witcher that's coming out in August, and Ahsoka coming out in August, which are 2 of the other shows that we're going to be covering. So they may stretch into Wheel of Time, but we'll definitely be able to cover it. So it's not a major problem for it.
Let's talk about the next item on the agenda, and that is, now that we have this news and we got some pretty photos, about 8 of them that were released with an Entertainment Weekly article, and then we also got news that, of the release. I'm wondering when we're going to get a trailer, because we've had these little teasers and everything. We might get another teaser before we get a trailer. But Priscilla, what do you think? It seems like Comic-Con is a place where everybody likes to release their trailer stuff. So, do you suspect that it'll be Comic-Con, or there is a Wheel of Time convention the week before called WatCon that they do every year? And I know that Bubba watches the YouTubes of somebody who is an organizer of that con as well. I can't remember that YouTube guy's name. Bubba, do you?
Nabelis. I think it's Nabelis, no?
Do you think that they might release something by then for those people to consume before we get to Comic-Con, or will they wait till Comic-Con?
Well, they have like some sort of like rule for releasing trailers, right? It's like something like 4 weeks before the premiere, so it should be August. So whatever comes first for me, it's like it's preferable. But also they tend to have like 2 sorts of trailers now. No, they have also like when. So I suppose they would have one trailer for the WotCon and one trailer for the Comic Con. But I really would like them to do something different and just release a trailer like out of nowhere, like one day, just like nothing. It's like.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because they made this announcement of September 1st being the release date exactly 100 days before it was released, used to be released. So, Bubba, do you think that they'll just, again, the marketing people have just taken over and we've got to have this so that people will talk about it in a buzz-like fashion?
The marketing people should take over, Matt. This is a big production meant for the entire world. And that means it's got to reach everybody, not just our friends who go to WotCon and our fans of the books. It's got to reach everybody. It's got to get everybody excited. I think you were mentioning Comic-Con early. How do you own an event like Comic-Con where so many properties are trying to get excitement and people thrilled for what's coming up? I think a trailer has to be released then. And you were right, maybe 2, maybe 3. Whatever it takes. You, like I'm saying, in this fantasy space, this is the Wheel of Time's time to jump up and remind everybody what a great show this can be. And so I say release 50 trailers, whatever it takes to get the audience excited.
I would think it's going to be Comic-Con. I think it's probably a good distance out from the 1st of September, but I think they definitely need to release one because, there was the teaser and, it teased a few bits and bobs. And I think at the time I was like, okay, I don't remember that from book 2, say, for example, or I couldn't really sort of grasp where it was. And I was only partly through book 3. So I hope they do because, I think this is, it's got such good production values. I've really enjoyed the writing on it. I think the cast are really good. That, I think Amazon Prime really needs to kind of promote the hell out of it and really sort of back it. Like they did with Rings of Power, because I think, they've got some really good fantasy properties here and it could really be a big draw for Amazon Prime, which I think it probably suffers a little bit compared to some of the other places like Disney Plus and Netflix, given that everyone gets Amazon Prime for free if they sign up to it for having their parcel shipped to them. So not, people get it and sometimes don't even realize it. So I really hope they chuck out a good, meaty 2.5-minute kind of trailer to show what we can expect in season 2, because I think there's a lot. I think it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah. Do you know, I have another theory. I think they're going to do a fan cut trailer, one for people that are really into the show, showing the kind of things that they're going to delve into. And then the Comic-Con trailer is going to be the big bombastic one that draws in new people into season 2, or draws people in who haven't even watched season 1 to watch that before September 1st. So I think they're probably going to do 2 cuts.
All right. Like I said, Entertainment Weekly released about 8 photos, and the Wheel of Time official Twitter also put it on their Twitter account with larger resolution images, at least as far as I can get them on my computer. So I would like to share my screen for the video audience, and I will try to do an audio description as far as the other goes for the podcast. I just can't wait to make Derek squirm and say things because he's always so together when he's when he's podcasting, and he's always got the right thought, and he always edits it so that everybody sounds like they agree with him. So let's see how much we actually agree with him in the real term. What do we got here, Derek? We've got Egwene.
Thank you. That's part of the challenge for me, is remembering all the names as well, because I will be doing my research before the episodes come out. But right now, thanks for reminding me of lots of the character names from the season of the show that I watched a couple of years ago. So the first image of Egwene here looks like she is now working in the kitchens of a massive castle. That's what it looks like to me. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong. But it looks like, she's taken on a job to support her traveling. That's what I think is happening.
She doesn't have her braid in her hair anymore. That's pretty interesting. Bubba, what do you think that means?
Well, as the non-book reader, I don't exactly remember. I think that even though she's very powerful and saved the day with Nynaeve and other people in the first season, I think it makes a lot of sense. If you are on the ground, if you are a first year, if you are just now learning magic, you got to start at the very beginning. You've got to go and be the complete neophyte. And my imagination is that's what she has to be. This is Harry Potter, the first year at Hogwarts. You got to wear these robes. You got to do what you're told. And if she's here, what looks like a pantry, getting things ready and dressed what appears to be a bit like a servant, this is you're the newbie, last one hired, first one to do the glassware.
Now, how did you come to the conclusion that she's a first year?
Well, when I say first year is the first season, and again, I haven't read the books. The first season, it was like, oh, we've got to go to the tower. We've got to find out who's the dragon reborn. But at the tower, it was all women in charge. And these are women who have powers, and they were divided up into their colors, as I'd always say. And it felt like she hadn't really gone through any process to be one of them, but it felt like because she had these powers, she needed to be one. Remember, those terrible people in the white cloaks were torturing her because they thought she was a evil witch, for the simplest way to say. And so naturally, if you're going to be part of this group, a lot of people aren't just brought in as equals. You go into a sorority, you're going to be a pledge for a bit. So that's how I read it. Sorry if I'm saying first year and second year. Maybe it is. There are no years, but that's the way I assume it is.
All right. Excellent. So, Priscilla, why don't you tell me how much Bubba got correctly without telling
completely wrong.
without telling Bubba that he got anything correctly, because we don't want to spoil him.
He got everything correctly. He's amazing. We should not talk bad things about him. He knows everything. No, but I mean, she doesn't look like she's very happy. No, she's looking very focused. And I mean, Egwene's whole thing is that she wants to learn, she wants to be better. So that's why I think she doesn't have the braid anymore. She already left the past behind. She already had this mind of like, we are going to Tavalon, and I'm going to be an Aes Sedai eventually. I'm going to be powerful. And she's just following through that. And she's paying her dues. And she just left the 3 rivers behind. So she's being very practical about it. And I'm very glad for that.
What color is that stone, Derek? What color what would you call that?
That looks like a cement colored stone to me.
Gray.
Yeah, gray.
Gray. It does look gray.
Yes.
But it is definitely a lighter stone, and perhaps this is someplace that we've been to before in season 1. It just doesn't look quite as polished. When you're working in the kitchens, there's all kinds of smoke and everything. It can get everything dirty. It might be that she's working in the White Tower here. Weren't they going to go and?
Well, that's what I would have said on this, because it's a kitchen, and the punishment of the White Tower always does seem to be get yourself down to the kitchen to wash a few pots, or the other one is go out and weed the vegetable patch. So they like to give onerous tasks to do.
Very good.
But so that's what I would have said, because also I think with the white and underneath the apron, and maybe with the hair braiding not being as apparent or as strong, it's something to do with how far along on the journey of force of manipulating the weave and the force. So
right.
Like a novice state of development or training.
One other thing that Bubba brought up that I felt was quite ingenious to think of is the fact that Egwene is wearing this white, not a pure white, but a kind of an off-color cream white. It's pretty close, given the lighting and whatever. So you also mentioned, Bubba, that all of these different Ajas, these different types of Aes Sedai, have different colors that they wear and everything. And what is white but the absence of color? And so, therefore, perhaps she is in the very beginning stages of some process towards earning a color.
But white is the combination of all colors, Matt. It's the black that is the absence of colors. I think you missed a lesson. You missed a lesson.
Oh, darn. Well, that's why I'm wearing this. Yeah. These costumes, by the way, and I'll continually be saying this, but they are amazing. Even just this one, which is probably the most bland of all of them that we have in these shots. I'm just struck by how wonderful the fabric looks and how well these pictures are taken, and how I really want some salad. I really do want some salad. Yes. But that's the way
that's if you make friends with salad, of course.
She's mixing poison, obviously, for somebody right there.
You can tell so much more from these pictures than I can, of course, which is the benefit of having.
But they're also trying. It looked like they're also trying to sort of protect the kitchens from vampires as well.
Oh, really?
With all
a whole load of garlic there
around,
as well.
Yeah. Next one. Oh, someone else who's wearing white, and that is Nynaeve, except she's not wearing much white. Now, there's a lot of things we can talk about this as book readers, but Bubba, what do you think is going on here?
You know, I have to be honest, Matt, because of the things you just said, I assumed that maybe she's also a first year. But the first thing I really thought when I saw this picture is how the last episode of season 1 kind of blew my non-book reader mind, of where it feels like a medieval world, but apparently in the far distant past, this was a futuristic world with flying cars, it felt like, and stuff. And I look at this white top that she has on, and I think, you know, that looks like something you would buy in a modern mall. So maybe, maybe technology isn't as medieval as it seemed in the first season. I don't know. That was really my only real thought about this, other than this character in season 1 seemed very powerful, seemed very strong. I wasn't ever used to this character looking afraid and maybe not strong. And that's the expression you see on her face, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I agree with that. She is definitely looking to something and seeming less sure than we're used to seeing her, for certain. Derek, I want you, I mean, obviously this is someplace that's dark. It's artificially lit. Looks like there's some kind of lamp behind her there. Not very sure of herself. Is that as sure of herself as you've ever seen Nynaeve? She's usually much more confident.
Yeah, she looks very scared or very saddened by something that's just happened. Definitely. Where would she be going? Any idea? Is these are the kind of photographs that I would have. I would be able to take nothing from other than
I thought she was heading to bed, actually,
really?
In her slinky number. But I might be wrong. So for me, I initially thought that this was the same place that Egwene is in, but just more of the sleeping quarters, possibly anxious and unsure. Because she does have a problem with authority, unless it's her own, as well, certainly in the White Tower. But also, we do know that she made a connection with Lan, and the training at the White Tower. Then that is an issue for those couplings, shall we say?
Yes,
betrayal's not the right word, but just that understanding of what's going to happen as she sort of maybe embraces her training for the sake of her friends, because she's less willing, I would say, than Egwene.
Yes.
Priscilla, I want to talk to you about this. I don't know. Is that an archway, do you think, that is behind or some kind of freestanding rock, a column of some kind? Or
I don't know. Yeah. It could be it's difficult to tell. It's not very clear from the picture, but she seems to be not in a cave, but somewhere, as I said, with artificial light. So yeah, she's not traveling, obviously. So we are not going to book spoilers here, but we already know, like from the last season, that she was going to eventually go to the White Tower to receive the training, the same as Egwene. So we can suppose that she is in the same place as Egwene is, but in another level, perhaps, because it's a tower. So it's
there are lots of levels in a tower. All right, next image. Oh, well, we know one of these people. If you've been reading castings, then you know the other people. But I do want to focus on her first. There is a woman here. She's holding a spear, and she has this kind of veil over her mouth. And the veil itself is very similar, I'll just say this, Bubba, to what character did we see like that? Not necessarily living in season 1.
As a non-book reader, I cannot recall this specific, Matt. If you're trying to lead me to a place, I couldn't get you there. I apologize.
Okay, Tom Maryland and Matt buried a certain person. What did they call him?
He was I missed the exact term, but was it a chronicler, a troubadour? What, I forget what they were called.
It was a certain people from a certain area, and the whole idea was that they often got they didn't show up very often. The Ogier called Rand one as well. It starts with an A. Okay. Aiel is what that is. The Aiel are a group of people who live in a very harsh condition, and they're very good at war. In fact, Rand's mother, if you might recall from episode 7 of season 1, was an Aiel fighter, and you saw how completely badass that she was. And so this is a particular Aiel that you can imagine is pretty much a badass as well. She's got a knife, she's got a spear, she's ready to go. And is she protecting our buddy Perrin? Why would Perrin need protection? Why would Wolf Boy need protection? Perrin is in the shot as well, standing next to this Aiel, who I'm just going to go ahead and say, if you've read the castings, the character's name is Avienda, but we won't say anything more about that character.
Well, Matt, can I answer a question I think you're saying about why is this person who obviously seems like a badass standing there next to somebody who, if I remember season 1 correctly, ended season 1 by saying, I wanted to be a pacifist. And so maybe you need to have a protective person with a pacifist. And I remember I got frustrated at the end of season 1 where I'm like, okay, I understand being a pacifist, but didn't he watch and see some friends of allies of his get killed? I'm like, at a certain point, pacifist, you've got to do something to there is a time for being a pacifist.
Not if you follow the way of the leaf. The way of the leaf is, he got brainwashed in the cult early on in the season.
I don't know. I'm saying if I'm being attacked, you can, drop the leaf and come help me. That's my opinion.
You just lock arms and take it. Lock arms and take it same way that the Tuathalan did when Child Valda decided to take them out.
Child Valda. Oh my God, Child Valda was terrible.
Make sure that you do not call him sir. Call him Child Valda. Always Child Valda. I love Perrin's jacket there. The other thing that I'll note before I turn Derek loose on this is take a good look at that armor, Derek. What the heck is going on there? That's something that we've not seen. And I think that if you keep that picture in mind, then you might make some connections as to where this might be when we look at later shots.
Interesting.
What's going on here? We've got Avienda here. She is protecting Perrin. How fun is it going to be for you to embrace this culture, which seems like it's going to get right into our face as we continue to go through this story?
You know, they are the characters I'm most excited to meet because of that reaction to one dead guy with a mask last season from my book reading podcasting hosts. So I'm really intrigued to see how these play into the show because it seems like an interesting group of people. So in this image, definitely it looks like she's protecting Perrin. Looks like she's ready and fully tooled up for battle, which is always something you like to see in an action adventure type show. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, that's kind of where I am on this. This looks like it's going to be one of the big moments at the start of a big battle. So yeah, very excited for that.
All right, John. Any speculation as to what big battle that might be? So, because this is where you get thrown because you think, okay, yeah. I think I know who these people are, but then why is she here?
Yeah, I mean, I know that as they navigate across this world, they do bump into ailment and women across, and I think as well. The thing is, I'm just not entirely sure where this actually is. So. But I think it could be Falm potentially, because I know Perrin's primarily the white cloaks are, the ones that have sort of got their eyes on him, shall we say, for various reasons. And he has a medallion in the middle as to whether that had a dragon, whether the symbol on that was a dragon.
Hard to tell with my resolution. Sorry about that.
I know exactly, but I don't think it's a little unclear as to what's on it. But I'm almost thinking, it does look a little like it could be the head of a dragon, because the other reason why the Ale are sort of maybe a bit more present is because of various legends and prophecies that they adhere to as well. So. Again, I thought it could be later, but I have a feeling this is Falm because I think Falm is dusty.
Yes. Yeah. So that was the one thing I gathered from all of these images is that Falm seems to be a very dusty place, which being near the ocean doesn't seem right. But I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that's not a big deal.
It's just salt. That's all it is.
Priscilla, your impressions of this shot. There's also somebody back here in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's some interesting armor.
Should be a new character, yeah. It should be a new character, so we don't know who he is.
Yeah, we don't know who he is, but I sure do like that armor.
You want that?
It's very
better
cool.
than your clothes, the clothes you're wearing now.
What clothes? I don't know what you're talking about. I really like all of these costumes, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, they are amazing, right?
They look fantastic.
Can I ask a question as somebody who hasn't read the books?
Sure.
When you see these characters and they have their, the woman with the mask over her face or the person in the back with the very detailed armor and the red colors, when you see them, do they appear like you imagine them in the books?
I mean, when I read the book, I don't usually picture, unless it's like a book like the descriptions are very precise and very important to the plot. I don't usually picture the characters, and for me, it's in the verse. Now, if I go back to the books and then I read, then I imagine Randall Thor as Joshua. I'm not a particularly visual person in this sense, but I mean, they look good. I think they look better than what I would have imagined, to be honest.
I think it's all pretty satisfactory, actually. I think, in fact, the only one, just because it's a close-up and we see the new Cawthon there, but in terms of that's it fits with what he's going through, but as to where it is, I'm not entirely sure. I know about that, and then there's somewhere I think I can see parts of book 3 in it. To be honest, even the Rand one is interesting because the description of him in the books is always about him wearing a tunic a lot of the time. So seeing him looking like a Jedi Master,
Obi Rand.
Yeah, exactly, is a little different. But again, looking at the little symbols in the back, at this moment, it's. I think I know where it is, but it depends how much they're slicing in parts of book 3, because I'm just wondering, are they going to kind of maybe just speed up things?
Now, Priscilla, I have a problem with that. Robert Jordan spends about 90% of his books describing how things look.
But I'm not
that
there
means you're
yet.
only getting to the 10%, right?
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
Oh, you're not in the slog yet, are you? Okay.
No, and I have to say I don't like descriptions that much. Like I don't focus. I read them and I completely forget. I'm more like plot focused or character driven. When I'm reading, I pay attention to what the characters are saying, not exactly what the characters are looking, which is bad because sometimes I miss things for that.
The podcast that I'm listening to, Wheel Takes with Ali and Gus, so just go ahead and plug them here. They are fantastic because I believe that, one of them has reread the series multiple times, and the other one, she is reading the series for the first time. And so they only listen to the audiobooks, if I recall right. Well, he might read the actual text, but I think she only listened to the audiobooks. And a second a description comes up in one of the from one chapter to another or a book to another, she says, "Oh, that's blah 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 blah," and I'm like going, it took me a month to figure that out. What are you doing? So for some people, the descriptions really work, and I think that you can find a lot of stuff in there. But I'm with you. It doesn't usually grab me that much. It annoys me that 90% of Robert Jordan's writing is those descriptions. Bubba is bored. Let's move on to the next.
He's bored. Let's move on.
Let's move on to the next picture here.
We are here to please Bubba. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God, he's crying. Oh.
He is crying. He's very upset.
A single tear. Oh my God.
This is Donald Finn, who has taken over the role of Matt Cawthon from Barney Harris. He's in a very dark place. Now, the last time that we saw Matt, Bubba, he said, they said, "Hey, we're going in the ways," and he said, "No, ma'am, I'm out of here."
Oh, I thought he didn't say it. He just pieced out.
Well, he just kind of stared at him, actually, but metaphorically, he was saying, "No, ma'am."
He ghosted them, Matt. This Matt ghosted everybody. And my big note on this is that, once again, I'm the test subject. I have not read the books. And as we podcasted about season 1 of The Wheel of Time, so many people would leave comments or talk about, "Oh, Matt is my favorite character. Matt is my favorite character. He's so funny." And in season 1, Matt was not my favorite character. He didn't seem especially fun or funny or anything. And now the first image I have of him in season 2, he's sitting in the dark crying. Where's the lighthearted fun guy I was promised? Book readers have lied to me.
Oh, they're just trying to protect you. Now, I'm going to disagree with you, Bubba. I actually liked what they did with. I thought he was hilarious. Yeah, I thought he was very funny, and I thought that they did some really meaningful character building with Matt's character, as far as his sisters, as far as the whole thing about the Aiel with Tom, Marilyn. I thought that was all fantastic.
If character building is, okay, guys, we're going to go defeat the evil that could kill all of us. We're all together, right? Right? Where did Matt go? Yeah, that's great character building right there. Where'd he go?
Well, let's talk about this, because we saw Moraine basically cure him of the dagger.
Did she cure him? I think she was just
the question. That's the question, because he didn't seem all that changed that much after that.
She said something like, okay, right now he's safe, but it was already accumulating the darkness inside him. So she saved him from physically, but not mentally, if that makes sense. That's what I understood from what she done. Well, so he was dying by this poisoning something, and she just saved his body, but not his soul.
Well, I also want to say many podcast listeners are saying, well, I was promised Fitton was this fun guy who made a lot of jokes, and that didn't turn out to be true either. So I apologize. Right. After this podcast is over, I'll be crying next to a candle.
Yeah,
that's my job. I'm the Matt here, so I'm the one that has to apologize for all of that. Is he sad, Derek, because he let his friends down, or is he just sad?
I think that has to be it. It has to be that he's let his friends down. He has to be reconsidering that decision, because they're all gone now. He has no idea how to follow them, how to find them. I suspect at the moment. So yeah, I think that might be why he's sad, Matt. But he has gone through quite a lot as well. Well, he hates his friends. He doesn't care where they are at all. He's sad because he's just smashed his drinks glass. Is that what it really is?
Well, I keep thinking of him as being in the White Tower, actually. So I don't know whether this is a bit of a switcheroo, but I wondered, given the tier that he wished he had gone along, he feels like he is not protecting them. Also, I think what I really like about this character anyway is just how, we know he's a bit of a gambler, he likes playing the dice and so on, but how luck becomes a bigger part of his, in a sense.
Well, he's ta'veren. They all have a sense of luck about them, but his is extraordinarily around things that are gambling oriented. He seems to be extraordinarily lucky.
And I know as it progresses into book 3, the whole dream world of this world becomes more apparent, and both him and Perrin, certainly stood out to me that, a lot of their actions are happening because they keep seeing these dreams, which prompts him to go to certain places. So that's probably a bit later on, but I think it's difficult because, like, I love how, his head is resting on sort of the arm of the bench, and there's this intricate woodwork, and I'm going, I just don't really know if I know enough about the...
I wish I knew the symbols
architectural styles, that this is, because on the back, the backboard of that bench, you've kind of got almost like a rose carving, sort of like you would get on a stained glass window, and I feel that's very White Towery in terms of what it would be, but I just don't know. But he's certainly sad.
Well, here's the deal. He's sad because he just bet his last silver on a dice roll, whereas ta'veren didn't work for him. So he's broke, and he's hungry. And he's saying, if I just had gone with Moraine and those guys, at least I'd be dead. So that's what's going on with Matt right there. That's me on record saying exactly what it is. Everybody pat me on the back when I'm absolutely correct as we get into season 2.
Oh, dude, what a picture. We are now going to a big group shot, a thrilling group shot. And you guys are going to have to lead me through it, because in some ways it doesn't make any sense. Here, as the newbie, I'll go ahead and say the thing that doesn't make sense. I'm pretty sure, and I'm going to hope I don't mispronounce his name, Ogier, was in bad straits at the end of season 1. I think he took a blade in the back even.
Loial,
Yeah, Loial. And now here he is hanging out with, I'm pretty sure, the most evil person in the world. And I don't know anything about this woman in the front of this procession with these creepy long fingernails.
She's not a good person.
But
she's not a good person. Saying, that's all you can. Yeah.
We should not judge people by how they look, but she looks horrific. She looks terrible.
Now,
this is something you should say behind her back, where Loial is. You look like crap.
Now
you cannot see her face. How she can look?
That's
like that?
probably better.
Bob-
Well, it looks like she's got horns coming out of her head. She's got these weird finger extensions that are creepy. I'm sorry, I judge this book by its cover, and I'm burning this book. I'm taking it to Florida so it gets tossed out.
Bubba, where did we see these people in season 1? Not these exact people, but where did we see people like this?
Nobody told me there'd be a quiz. I'm sorry, I don't exactly
the very last scene of season 1.
Oh, okay.
Remember the big ocean wave on the boat?
Boats. Yeah, okay.
So
yeah, they were trying to kill a baby girl. They were trying to kill a child.
Oh yes, horrific.
Loial is here. Obviously, the people from the boat have gotten on land.
Yeah, they killed the child.
And they're aligned with the dude that Rand thought he killed, but did not kill, just released.
Oh.
Who the show still, I think, knows as the Dark One. However, he is credited as Ishmael in the credits of the show.
Yeah. He looks very, very pleased with himself, I have to say.
One of the things I love about this, I'm going to go to the lower here. This place is very dusty where they seem to be walking. And he is obviously so petty that he's put some kind of galoshes over his fancy shoes so that they won't get dusty. And then, of course, Loial's pretty little, what's he got, 4 toes there, his little hooves? They're great. Yeah. And he's dressed in this kind of really weird garb. That's not something you see Loial be dressed in. Could this be an indication, and the fact that he's several steps behind, and it seems like he's next to another dude that's dressed the same. Could Loial possibly be acting as a servant here?
Either a spy or he's, like if you can't beat him, you join him. One of the
maybe he seduced one of these women. He's like a concubine.
Priscilla has earned the fake Holly laugh. The fake Holly laugh is awarded for jokes that are special. This is the first fake Holly laugh that has been awarded for season 2 coverage of Wheel of Time.
Okay, now, this is why I pointed out the guy in the shot with Avienda and Perrin, because to me, these uniforms, they don't look exactly the same, but they do have that metal, they do have that medallion kind of thing in the center of them, right? So, given that we've seen these people before, and we see some other people here, Derek, what the heck do you think is going on here?
I have no idea, but these costumes are absolutely gorgeous. You mentioned it before already, Matt, but these are amazing looking costumes. So intricate, so wonderful to look at. Really intrigued to see what's going on here. Has someone been captured? Are they reuniting here? I have to go for character names again. I've lost my character names. Sheet.
Yeah, that's Loial.
Loial, thank you.
Loial is the Ogier. Yeah, we have the Dark One here, or I think that the casting name that they gave him was Ishmael. Yeah, and then we have a couple of Shan. Yeah. I think that you're probably correct there. And Bubba, you said that these are nail extensions.
They're horrific, whatever they are.
They are quite.
This is somebody trying to get in Guinness Book of World Records for creepiest fingernails. And even though I've seen longer fingernails, I'm just going to give it to this person so they leave me alone.
You did see longer than this? Did you see longer than this?
Yeah, but also think about this, that you often hear the phrase, the eyes are the window to the soul. And in both of these two people that Loial is walking behind, not the Dark One, but the other two people, a lot of times their eyes are hidden. So it's like they don't want you to see their eyes. You don't want them to see their soul. And maybe because if we were to see them, not good.
That you went too deep. That was a very deep observation.
Well, I had to do that after I literally just said, yeah, they're ugly.
But like body posture, it seems that he's like some sort of like looking at the woman. Maybe he's like, I wouldn't say that he's conspiring against these women, because Loial is a very good person, but it looks like he is like he knows something. No? He has some conspirational thing. So maybe the other person that we saw on the other picture wearing this armor, but not quite. Maybe we are going to have some sort of revolt there. I don't know. They are invaders, so.
I apologize to our video viewers or to our audio viewers that you can't see this, but it's just this very intricate mask-like structure that goes over her entire shoulder, their harnesses. It goes to this mask which completely covers her face. Looks like she's got her eyes closed even. This beautiful ornaments on the top of her head, and it's just so amazing. Even the fabric itself, the way it's woven together. Don't know why she's trying to set a world record for the longest fingernails. She's not anywhere close, according to the last picture I saw. But keep trying, lady. And then you have the Dark One's outfit, because I guess he is from the past, which had a futuristic element to it. He gets all the cool stuff, all the leather with the cool designs.
Yep. I think I'd like to cosplay as the Dark One. That looks fabulous. I'd wear that. I'd wear that out on Halloween.
I think I'd wear that on a Tuesday.
Possibly, yes. You have better Tuesday than I do.
Well, it is Tuesday here as we record, and folks in the audio or in the video podcast can see exactly what I'm wearing. So you get ideas of what my Tuesdays are like.
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting, though, with the Dark One being in that shot, because technically, is this some kind of, with Loial being behind, is it some kind of dream sequence of some description? I think, as well, from what I can remember around book 2, a certain peddler from book 1 that we saw very early on is one of the main sort of agents of the Dark Lord.
Right, he's stolen the horn, right? He's stolen the horn.
In this film, in terms of trying to thwart Rand and company. So it's an interesting shot, because I don't think it's as such present, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe he's not even there.
Oh, good
maybe
point. Good.
No, because we're in the first season, we saw some sort of hallucinations and people that were there, but they were not there, or they were not visible for everybody. So maybe he's not visible for everybody.
I like that.
No, he looks like, two reasons. No, he is from another era, so he looks very unlike anybody else. But it can also be that he's not there, physically. Maybe it's just I don't know.
I think that would make him stand out even more if he was there, right? He would look very odd to everybody. Now, exactly. I'm assuming we can think that whether he is actually physically there or not, we can assume that there is an alliance here, which makes us dislike the Seanchan even that much more, correct?
Yeah.
Bubba
we don't like them. No, Bubba doesn't care. We should move on. He's he doesn't want. Yeah. Oh, the most beautiful dress.
Here's our hero.
Wow. Yeah. Moraine.
Tell us, Bubba. Tell us what you're seeing.
Well, we are seeing Rosamund Pike, who plays Moraine, in a very awesome, rich blue, dark blue dress. Her hair is pulled back. She's got a little white shift or top underneath this flowing
look at all
blue
that
dress.
lacing.
Yeah.
And she obviously had took a big L at the end of season 1. She actually kind of took a lot of L's in season 1, if I think about it. But
she took a lot of losers to the north, to Faldar is what she did.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to say it like that, but really, she wants to find the Dragon Reborn, and she wants to defeat the Dark One. And it's almost like everything she did blew up in her face. All her goals blew up in her face. But despite Rand, quote unquote, being the most powerful in the Dragon Reborn, as a show watcher, she's the one. If anybody's going to save us, I know these other characters have powers, and they can, I assume, grow and become more powerful. to me, she's the top dog. She's got the most power of anybody. And if I was going to assume anybody was going to save this world from the darkness that could envelope it, it'd be her.
She still is wearing her Aes Sedai ring.
Mm.
Remember, there were times with the White Cloaks where she had to take it off, and she gave it to Lan to hide the fact that she was an Aes Sedai. Obviously, she's not having any problems with that here. So that means what, Derek? Has she got her powers back? Is she still shielded or stilled? Or I'm calling it shielded. I don't think she's been permanently had the power taken away from her. But much the same way that they did with Logain to keep him from accessing his power. I think that whatever was put on her at the end of season 1 is similar to that. It's just that it's kind of, I don't know, tied off in some way, and that's why.
I agree with you. Yeah, that was my speculation at the time that wasn't a permanent thing. It's some kind of temporary cut, and she looks very powerful in this image, whether she has her powers or not. That's a very powerful moment for her. I wouldn't like to be on the other side of that stair. She looks like she's about to confront somebody right here. So who is it?
She's not wearing any shoulder pads. What do we do about that? She was shoulder pad queen in season 1. Is that for battle? Is she still trying to be a little incognito? Evidently not, because she's wearing this ring. Love that belt too. Is there any kind of?
She's a perfection.
Matt, you need to be on the red carpet judging people as they come in. You're like, look at this outfit, dressed to the nines. What are you wearing? This is when you are a very powerful person in the world, you wear nice threads. And even though everybody in the background is out of focus, you can tell that with her power comes great costuming.
As opposed to great responsibility.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's looking the part of a powerful woman. Yeah, that's correct.
If you needed help in this shot, who would you go to get help from? Her, obviously. Or maybe the woman,
to be honest,
if you were hungry, you might go to the
I was going to say, I might go and get me some salad, is what I might do right over there. Or some stew or whatever.
Yeah, but she doesn't look like, also, nobody looks happy in any picture. No. So she also doesn't look like, she looks like, what's going on here?
She looks very intent. She looks very focused. She's headed somewhere, that's for certain. So we will have to see what that means. We can, again, talk
and she's by herself. There is no Lan there.
There is no Lan there.
Yeah, so
Lan was one of her L's. Lan was like, Nynaeve, hello. Moraine, old news.
Now,
the ball and chain, she's making me follow her. Sorry.
I think, to me, this picture is decidedly at a port town, of which the two cities, the one at the end of book 2 and the one in book 3, both have them. They're both next to the sea. I guess I just didn't necessarily know their respective dustiness. So, but it's certainly they look like it's sort of down by the docks, sort of the all the
very little stonework. Almost no stonework. It's almost all woodwork.
And sort of more of the the workers area, away from any person of wealth or influence or power in the respective town. So maybe she's just arrived.
John, I would ask this. If you were to portray this dress, and you're thinking about a seamstress who's going to make this dress for Moraine, when Moraine walks in, is she walking in with old money or new money?
I'd say old money.
I would definitely say old money myself. I don't know how much we've gotten really into Moraine's backstory yet with the show, and I don't know how much we will, but I hope that we do, so that old money explanation will ring through at some point.
Excellent. I'll finally understand what that means.
I think
in about season 5. Yes, you will.
Okay.
I think it, and I won't say by who, but I have come across the first sort of main discussion of that old money.
Which, Priscilla, does it imply new money or old money?
Old money.
Old money.
She's old money. all the money.
Yeah, that's very awesome because you don't just walk into any old seamstress shop and say, "Hey, I want this," right?
No, this is like, yeah, it's amazing. I would love to have this dress.
I would.
Matt, can I say you were like, well, at the end of season 1, she had lost her powers. Let me say that the Moraine I saw in season 1, there's no way you're keeping this woman without her powers. She is going to get those powers back. I have no fear whatsoever. She's getting it back. She is, like I said, at this point, if I had to put money on who could save us, I'd put all my money in the Moraine stock.
Where is Lan? Where do you suppose Lan is?
Still on the ship, I guess.
But isn't his job to protect her? Shouldn't he be near her?
Scouting?
Oh, maybe he is.
He could be, you know.
Or maybe she's just seeing, oh, yep, Lan got another one. That one was going to try and kill me.
Yeah, maybe they're having a little wobble despite all the protocols around Aes Sedai and their warder.
Isn't he still trying to find her? Is that not where we left him at the end of last season?
Well, and that is true as well.
Wasn't Lan separated from her, trying to find her?
Oh, I thought that he did find her at the end, and at the seal, and she told him.
Right at the end. Yes, you're right. Last couple of seconds or last couple of minutes of the final episode, wasn't it? They found each other. Okay, so it's not that. So maybe she just sent him off for some messages.
Yeah. Hey, go find a good seamstress. This dress is going to get ruined real quick in all this dust.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts about this image before we move on? Anybody? Silence is golden.
Amazing dress.
Here's an amazing shirt. I just want to we have this picture of Rand. He looks like he's in a place that looks very similar to where Loial and Dark One and Shanshan were. It just looks kind of stony, and I don't. I know book readers would know these banners here probably and be able to identify what this place is. I know exactly where this place is, but we have the Dragon Reborn, who is swathed. He is Obi Rand Kenobi here. Derek, I've got a question for you. How is it possible that this strap is on the on the inside of the hood here? Whoop. How can it be on the outside to hold the sword up on the back?
Oh, you see, this is a trick that many heroes have, so they can throw their cloak off and reveal their full garments to everybody around them. Yeah, this is an old trick.
Okay. All right. Also, John,
photograph, so it has to be true, right? So
it's there. It's photographic evidence right there. Anybody see a dragon there?
It's either a dragon or it's like that Lamb of God thing that's been, that you see sort of getting slaughtered in churches.
Interesting.
That they do. But I'm guessing it's...
What churches are you going to?
I'm guessing it's a dragon.
You mean paintings of it, not actual slaughterings in churches that you go to?
Or it's a rabbit.
Or it's a rat. Yeah, it could be a dolphin, actually.
Okay.
It's one of Swan's fish from her place where she's from. Does this little shape right here look like a dragon to you?
No,
not at all. I think
this looks like embroidery. I think that there's dragons in.
Oh, would that be a bit vain of Rand to be like, well, I'm the Dragon Reborn.
I'm the dragon, yeah.
I got to go to this alteration place and get my clothes to fit it. Please remove that fox that was on my collar and replace it with a dragon.
I think there's a book reason for this, but I'm not going to say anything right now.
No, I really like Bubba saying, no, yeah, please remove this. That's so funny. Yeah, no, come on. Like, he's like very Assassin's Creed for me. Like, he looks like... Have you played this game?
No. I don't play video games.
You don't play video games? Oh my God. You just read books, right, Matt? You don't play video games? I just read books. I don't play video games, Matt. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I don't even
Did you give me a spoiler, Priscilla, that Rand, by being so powerful, will be able to do some of the things that the assassins can do? Like pretty much jump and climb walls without any trouble. like fall from great heights.
If you read the second book, there is something that happens in the end that it's even better than Assassin's Creed in terms of what he can do.
Oh, great. Wonderful.
Yeah.
But
you have to realize this is like really high fantasy. It's like the magic system there is like things happen all the time. People can travel through places to another place, and they can do things that it's not possible to do, actually.
Wonderful. So. Yeah, let's go. I'm excited.
Yeah.
So he's got his heron mark blade on his back. And as I said, I think there are places we can identify here. Bubba, would you say that this architecture looks similar to things that we've seen in other shots?
It does. I don't necessarily, as a show watcher, I don't automatically assume they're in the same place. They could be in similar castles with brown, light, sand-colored rocks. To me, the biggest thing is, once again, about his expression. Rand was, you almost want to call him a happy-go-lucky young person who was in love with this woman, and then he's had the weight of the world fall on him. Then he kind of failed with the weight of the world on him, and his expression is the thing that I see in this picture, where he looks like somebody, I don't want to call him a badass. He looks like somebody who's just kind of lost everything and kind of failure. So it'll be interesting if his attitude matches the one that I'm seeing in this image.
Very interesting. I think that's an interesting observation. Do you recall?
You think he's a little bit depressed, Bubba? Do you think he's depressed?
Or maybe if you have one chance to truly defeat darkness and you lose it, and you're just, just almost nothing matters anymore. Like, okay,
he's a nihilist. No,
could be, yeah.
Also, let's not forget that Matt and Rand had a conversation back in season 1 talking about, hey, let's off each other if we go mad, if we're the one and we go mad.
Oh, yeah.
And so is it possible, Bubba, that there's just a little bit of madness behind those eyes?
I wouldn't have thought that. And even as you're saying it, I'm thinking, no, maybe this is the face you make after you off one of your buddies because they've gone mad.
Oh, we're going to write that one down.
Yeah. It's like somebody mentioned the dragon that he has in his shirt, and he gets
that's
mad.
What it really is he's like, somebody saw his shirt and said, oh, that's a cute fox. And he went, I paid that person to make it a dragon.
Yeah, it's like, are you the
kill
dragon?
That Taylor.
Yeah. Are you implying I am the dragon reborn? Is that what you're saying? It's like...
and it's interesting because it's with the hood up, I guess he's trying to sneak into the Death Star at the moment, rather than as you say, whipping off the hoodie to reveal.
He doesn't want to face the battle droids just yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
That's
here we go.
Beautiful shot.
Now, I have a big suspicion about what this is, but I can't say a darn thing.
You can't say, yeah.
Yeah. But
it's a beautiful shot.
It is a beautiful shot. How did he get his horse back? Didn't they send them all off when they went through the Waygate? Where did he get his horse back from?
This is fantasy. This horse is going to know where he is at all times. Come on, man.
Just going to show up. Yeah. What was Gandalf's horse that Shadowfax was that?
Yes, thank you. Yes, okay. Of course.
All right. So there you go. That's what that is from.
It's Bella.
It's Black Beauty is what it is. Looking at it.
What is Lan's horse's name? It starts with an M, doesn't it?
Moraine. Oh,
Manjib. Manjib. I don't know. Mandab.
Mandar. Mandar.
Mandar, yeah. So I was close, but not that much.
Well, closer than I was, because all I had was the M. Lots of intricate works on the. I mean, I just love. But it looks like he's. For a second there, when I was zooming in, I was like, "Those are jeans." But it's not. It's not.
He's been to the future too.
He's got a pair of Levi's on. Yeah. I look at all of this beautiful stitching in there. So, Bubba, just for grins because I think Priscilla and I both know what this is about. But what do you think it is, just so that we have something on record for non-book readers?
This shot tells me nothing other than Lan is in season 2. It really absolutely tells me nothing. Lan was a character that, once again, it felt like a lot of book readers had a huge, strong bond to and really like him. And he did do some cool things in season 1. But when you always have Lan standing next to an Aes Sedai like Moraine, Lan seems like, yeah, he kind of helps. He's like Robin to Batman. You know what I mean? So,
well, I mean, he failed even in the very first episode. He was trying to protect Moraine, and she ended up getting hurt real bad. So
you had one job, Lan.
Yeah, I mean, you had one job, dude. Now you're kicked to the curb. Oh, I don't have the power anymore. That means that our bond is broken. Get the heck out of here. Who the heck are you? Go be king of that place in the Blight. Derek. Just as Bubba had said, there is nothing that I can tell you about this shot except for the fact that Lan is in season 2. That's the only thing I can tell you from this shot.
Yeah, that's absolutely me. Yep. Lan on a beautiful horse, once again, on his own. So what's happened? Why is he separated from Moraine again? What's he doing?
She might be up the tree, though.
She could be up the tree. I doubt it, but she could be just ahead of him on her horse, potentially. But yes, I can tell you absolutely nothing about this shot, other than I'm delighted to see Lan again. One of my favorite characters of season 1. So,
yeah, I'm a little unsure as to what this is about.
What do you think, Matt?
I mean,
well, I'd have to kick you out of the room, Derek, before I could say anything.
Okay.
Like, it's woody, certainly not dusty. I feel that around the White Tower, it's very lush. You've got the river, you've got the woods. I kind of felt, shall we just say, maybe he's got 2 ladies in his life that he's struggling to sort of reconcile at this moment in terms of the relationship with both of them. And so I kind of thought it was in that kind of space. But
the only hand I'll get in this section that I think that it is that this almost looks a little bit too idyllic to me. It almost looks a little bit too perfect. And thus, it makes me think that it might have something to do with another shot that's in here that I won't say.
Okay.
Because, that way I can just torture you. I can make you think, oh, well, now there's some connection that I got to find. And you have until September, Derek.
Excellent.
And then,
yes.
This
will probably be the focus of the first trailer that comes out at the Fan Fest, which will just be all about Lan's story in season 2 of Wheel of Time.
Anything else on this picture?
No, it's amazing.
Priscilla? Yeah,
no.
You just want to. That's all the images that we've got. But I think that you did quite well, Derek. You came up with some good stuff. John, as always, your stuff is fantastic. I think it works beautifully.
Can I ask a question?
No
Matt?
questions allowed. Go ahead.
So because I don't have any context, I can't get, my excitement can only reach so much level. You guys are in the know. When you see these shots, are you like, oh, yes, we're going to see this. Oh, this is so excited. This character's here. Oh, or are you so puzzled by what you see that it's like, what are they going to do with this upcoming season? So I can't experience that. You guys tell me, what's it like?
Well, until I'm proven wrong, which I likely will be, I'm very pleased with each one of these shots because I think I know exactly what each one of them are.
And there are things you're excited to see?
And they are all things I'm excited. I think I can't wait to see the sequence that Priscilla was talking about earlier, where she said,
I'm very curious how they are going to do it, because it's like in the books,
Yeah, well,
how they are going to translate it, like it can look very cheesy if they don't do it right, I think.
Well, knowing Rafe, it probably will to some degree. but that'll be okay. He loves everything so much that he can do whatever he wants with it.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. It does have the potential to be very cheesy. It also has the potential to be just super epic, depending on how much time they put into it. So I love that. I am excited for every shot. I skipped over you, Priscilla. What are your thoughts about each of these shots in terms of? Are you looking forward to it? Are you confused by any of it?
No, I'm very much looking forward. As I said, I was happy with season 1. I think it could have been better, but it also could have been worse. I was satisfied overall, like what happened there. But like I don't know if we're going to discuss further, like from the book reader perspective, like the Moraine storyline. It's a big interrogation mark so far for me, like in the pictures that like we saw, because there is something there that I don't know where she's going. Like as Bubba said, she has to get her powers back, so I'm very invested in this part of the story that is actually kind of new, like new waters for us,
It's a great introduction back into the world. I have no context other than, you're telling me, oh, remember those people on the boat? They're going to be trouble. But I kind of assumed that, obviously, the way they were introduced at the end of season 1.
I was just trying to make sure that you even remembered that they were on the boat. That's all.
No. I to be honest, I didn't remember that specific action of them murdering that kid, but I do remember them coming to.
It was just an accident,
landing.
Bubba.
I just do remember them landing, and it was the idea of, oh, you think things are bad now because the Dark One's released, but guess what? There's other troubles besides the Dark One. Now, admittedly, there were already other troubles, the people in the white cloaks and such, but this feels like this world, you need to leave. You need to move away and find a nicer place to live, is what it's implying season 2 is going to be like. So that's going to be exciting.
Thank you so much for joining me. You guys will be covering lots of stuff this summer. The Boys, when does The Boys come out?
Boys season 4 has not been announced yet. It's coming next year, but the spin-off Gen V is coming out in September of this year as well, towards the end of of September. So that's the one that may have a crossover with Wheel of Time season 2.
All right. Are you covering Ahsoka, or are you just covering the Star Wars animated stuff? Have you looked at the Vision stuff? Because I really loved the Vision Volume 2.
Yeah, we looked at the Vision. We watched it while we were on holidays. It actually came out, so we were able to view it, but haven't covered it. Really enjoyed it. But Ahsoka's been the one that we've been building up to for a very long time. We've been covering Star Wars: The Bad Batch, the series that spun out of the Clone Wars. This is the first live-action series spinning out of the Clone Wars. So really looking forward to covering that. And it also is featuring loads of cast from Star Wars Rebels, one of our favorite Star Wars properties. So really excited to be covering that as well.
Good Omens, are you covering season 2 of Good Omens?
We certainly are, yes. Coming up in Prime Video.
Can't wait.
End of June. Looking forward to that. That's season 2 of Good Omens. Another season 2 for this year. And my big show coming up this year. I'm a massive comic book nerd, and my favorite comic book character is Nick Fury, and he's finally getting his own TV show in Secret Invasion.
It's just around the corner.
21st of June. So very excited for that as well.
And the new Spider-Man animation as well, which is out this Thursday.
That's right. Yeah, across
the premieres this Thursday.
Yeah. Looking forward to that too. So lots of stuff coming up the next couple of months.
Folks, if you're into Marvel at all, and if you're into all of these wonderful shows that they've just been talking about, please check out TV Podcast Industries. That's tvpodcastindustries.com, or on Twitter, you're at TV Pod Industries, correct?
That's right. Too many characters for Twitter.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me join you guys for this almost spoiler-free discussion on Wheel of Time season 2. I am really
never spoiler-free completely. We just can't do it. When you're a book reader, you just can't do it. So with that, we shall now make our declarations, our pledges to watch season 2 of The Wheel of Time. as the royal court of Queen Morgaze of Andor comes to session for a special proclamation. Hail! I, Matrid, not to be confused with Putrid, serving as her queen's court heralder, promoted from court jester, they just haven't sent me the clothes yet, read the following. Queen Morgaze has successfully negotiated with the Kingdom of Amazon Prime and now declares that the Dragon Reborn, also known as Randall Thor, shall return to the Kingdom of Amazon Prime on the date of September 1st of the year 2023 of this age. From her throne, the Queen Morgaze shall now hear pledges to participate in the witnessing of the journey of the Dragon Reborn. We begin with the pledge of the Queen of Brazil, Germany, and YouTube, Her Royal Majesty Priscilla. Queen, will you pledge to watch Season 2 of Wheel of Time?
Sure.
Silence! Silence! That was not very enthusiastic. Queen Morgaze does not approve. Silence! Overlords of TV podcast industries, Overlord Derek, Editor-in-Chief, your pledge. Will you watch Season 2 of Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime?
I pledge to watch every single episode of Wheel of Time Season 2 on Prime Video.
Excellent. And as the person who is the overlord of the synopsis of each and every episode, shall you, Overlord John, pledge to watch Season 2 and not leave a single juicy detail out of your synopsis?
I do pledge that, and a hey nonny to that as well.
The Queen shall now hear the pledge of the King of Double P, His Majesty Bubba of Fit and Trim.
Your Highness, thy shall watch Amazon Prime until the Wheel of Time is released. Then after it is released, thy shall watch it again and again. Thy shall not proceed unto Season 3 until thou hast watched Season 2. Amen.
Silence! Silence! And so it is written, so shall it be done.
Mm-hmm.
Hail!